Just focus on something that's not too far away, but far away enough, and then reopen them again. A lot of times, I find that do help. But I don't think like I said, we do need to go ahead and get the
Yes.
go to
Yes.
our optometrist and
Yes.
get the correct lens. I'm sure that would help a lot better.
Yes, because those dollar stores, they are
I think they're
magnifying
just
glasses. But
they're
they work,
temporary.
though. I
They
ain't gonna
work,
lie, 'cause
but
I
I think
grab
I'm
them in
sure
a minute.
they're temporary things, something to use in the for the interim. Just for that moment, for that time frame. Maybe you didn't have your glasses, but I don't think it's supposed to be a regular thing, which I do use it because
Crazy
I'm
thing
guilty.
is,
I am guilty.
I got them in every room of the house. I got a pair in here. I got a pair upstairs. I got a pair down. I got a pair in every room. Yeah. So
I am guilty. No
Yep.
joke. I am guilty. I'm that guilty one. I figure, hey, I don't have to wear them all the
Yep.
time. I just need it for the reading. I'm not going to go out there. But I'm
Yep.
sure I probably would be better off if I did. Go.
yeah.
I guess that's like going to the dentist. Dentist said, look, that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to wear my glasses all day like I'm supposed
Yeah,
to.
you got your
One of
dentist.
these
And they
days.
say, come here before your teeth fall out. Sometimes they come here so you can get your eyes checked. So
Oh
you have the
my
right
gosh.
pair of glasses. You won't have to worry about the headache. But anyway,
Yeah. So,
sometimes
yeah.
the right thing to do is
hard.
hard.
And it shouldn't be because it's the simplest things. It's always the simplest things, though. It's always the simplest things. But that's okay because I promised myself I'm going to be sitting there with my glasses on, not the dollar store glasses. I'm gonna sit with my glasses on and see how things. They just giving me a time, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So we're so happy to be back. We want to thank all of our guests that tuned in, or that missed us last week, or thank the ones that hung out with us last week at Second Thursdays.
Yes,
So, because that was good. It was so really nice to see some new faces and meet some new family members that's going to be coming to the station. We are bringing you some diversity. So I'm very excited about
we love that. I mean, just like I said, just have these different, perspectives. You can't beat that.
Nope.
I love that. I love that about that.
Not at all. So we have a new show that's going to be airing in August. It's called The Blue Room. So if you all stay tuned, tune in the first week in August, go out on the site, check out the new show that's coming in. We got 2 others in the pipeline. I won't spill the beans on those yet. But pretty soon, The Blue Room will be up. So you can go out there and take a look and see what's going on there. So Miss Jasmine will be coming to join us on She's the Boss Radio Network. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be talking next week and seeing if we can put together some strategies and some plans for her show. Poor baby, she a little nervous. But that's okay, because we all are when we first
I think we all started off like that, and like this. So it's different,
Yes.
and you're thinking, ooh, wait a minute,
Yes. Yeah.
what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
But once you get started and you realize, the things that just your knowledge that you have, just in life in general, even, and then to combine with what you do or your passion, it becomes like, bam, it's just instant. But you don't think about that, at the moment.
Right. You
I don't really think you think about. Well, I'll put it this way: I didn't think about it in that moment when you say, "Hey, girl,
come on, Pam, we about to go do some radio." Pam, like, huh? Ooh, we what?
We what?
Yeah, yeah, we about to do some radio. So that was funny. That was funny.
Years later, here I am,
Yup.
like enjoying every moment
Bit
of it.
by the radio bug. How about that? So yes.
If there's anybody that's out there, and you thought about this, I'm telling you, go for it, because again, I was that person who wasn't quite sure about it myself, and now, like I said, I've got the bug, and it's great.
I mean, it's always a way to get your vision heard, and that's what we believe here at the radio station. It's a way to get your vision heard, and sometimes there's the platform. You're not always invited to the platform. So I always feel like if you're not invited to the platform, and you create yourself a platform.
You
I
got it.
mean,
Yeah.
you create
And,
yourself
like I
one.
said, there's, you got a voice, or you knowing that, there's something that you have that's not being aired at this time, and you know that it can be very effective and it can do, wonders and great things for someone, that's maybe going through what you've already gone through, or whatever your passion is at that, then hey, contact us at She's the Boss. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
there's always going to be some room for
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. Listen, so I've been on this TikTok craze, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike and I gonna play on TikTok.
Okay.
And so I was looking on there last night because I was like, okay, so how do you, do, and this is a great way to kind of spill over into where we're going to be having our conversation today. But how do you, get on your social media pages? Like, how do you get you see those numbers that go through the roof? Like, how do you get to those numbers? And honestly, a lot of times you look at people's page and you say, oh, wow, they got a lot of followers. But honestly, sometimes they're bought. They're bought. They don't know they're bought, and they didn't really get those followers. But then you do have some that are authentic and have authentic followers. And so they had this one lady that posted. I don't understand how I got in the group for Baltimore because I see a whole bunch of Baltimore posts.
Okay.
And so this lady literally pulled up in the gas station, and the music was really, really loud, which isn't something that's unusual because you see people ride around with their music blasting all day or whatever. She had her car set up. If you can see the picture in the studio right now, like the microphone is in front of me, she was in the driver's seat and the microphone was in front of her, and she was literally singing about the body oils that she saw that she found in her car. I never seen anything like that before in my life. But I thought that was so thorough, creative. I don't know how she got away with not getting a ticket. Yeah, she had a whole bunch of stuff going on in the front of her car. And it looked like the person in the passenger seat must have had the mixer board or whatever. And the speakers was in the back. And girl, she was selling that body oil. She was singing. I was like, this cannot be real. Only in But it was the funniest thing because I was like, "Oh my god, that lady is so creative."
That would definitely make you go viral.
That would
Everybody like, can you imagine?
Girl,
did you see this? Did you see it? And of course, that would pique my curiosity to go out there to see it.
Yeah. So if anybody know her, can y'all please tell her to contact me at the radio station because I definitely would love to have her on the show. That I have to give her a definite A+ for creativity for that one because that was good. It reminds you of the ice cream truck when the music playing and the lady like, hello. No, she was on the all out. She was singing about the body butters. I was like, okay, ma'am. I would just buy your body, your oil just because that is funny, but it was just creative. So,
yes. I advertise myself.
Yeah. So she said, listen, y'all not going to give me a radio spot. You're not going to give me a commercial. I'm going to ride around the city singing my stuff myself. I was thinking to myself, man, why you just didn't record it to a CD or something and play it in the car? Like, why you didn't? We got things a little bit, it do a little bit.
I hope she was in tune, wasn't she?
She actually sounded pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
she actually sounded pretty good.
So she was live.
Yeah. She actually sounded pretty good. Like I said, I was definitely impressed.
The singing,
singing and driving your car. Yeah, I was definitely impressed. I don't know how she pulled it off, but good job, ma'am.
Good job.
So when we come back, I'm going to touch on our topics tonight. Again, like I say, thank you. Typically on a Thursday night, it would be on a third Thursday, it would be our Ask an Expert. And so we just want to send out our well wishes and prayers to Joanne right now because she's had some things done, and so we just want to make sure that she knows that we're thinking about her. But she did put us in some good hands, so hopefully we'll be able to get one of her cohorts in for the next Thursday and see if we can have a real good conversation because he got some stuff to tell us, guys. I'm telling you, it's some stuff that we all need to know right about now. So we're gonna jump onto our first break, and when we come back, we're gonna touch on our topic of the evening and see what your thoughts are about what's going on around us today. We'll be right back. getting unboxed tonight, we wanted to kind of get your ideas or your thoughts about the things that are happening around us today. It is election time, and it is so important to vote. The crazy thing is, so what happened was,
Okay, tell us about it.
what happened
What
was,
happened?
I'm one that I can't say that I follow the candidates. I'm gonna tell you this season, really I was a little overwhelmed. I don't know about anybody else, but I can say that I was a little overwhelmed with all of the people that were running for the different
For the different offices. Mhm.
It's a little crazy. It's like, but honestly, I can say Trump, if he did anything for me, he really made me open my eyes and be a little more mindful about the people that I vote for and the people that, are, running for different offices. Like, I'm really, really now paying more attention to it. Where before, honestly, I've never had a situation where I don't vote. I always vote. But he really opened my eyes to say, okay, yeah, I need to be really paying attention to some of the stuff that's going on, right? And so this time we had been going back because it was like so many people on the ballots for seemed like the same things, and we had already talked about how do you make those decisions? It's kind of hard sometimes when it's sort of like if you're in a room with a million flavors of ice cream. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to pick because there's so many options.
To choose from.
So how do you?
Yeah, and sometimes you go back to, well, I never heard of this flavor, that flavor, so I'm going back to what I do know.
And that's, you go back to what's safe because that's the stuff that you know. And so I really felt like that was the case for me this time. And then I'm really careful about putting my ideas and my thoughts onto someone else because I feel like everybody have their choice in who it is that they would like to see in office. But I'm real careful about trying to sway your point of view when somebody asks me, who are my choices? And honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I hate when people bring up politics. Because it's like they always say don't talk about politics and religion because people always go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, it sure can.
Yeah, and so people, and they want to sway you into their beliefs and their thoughts and all of that. And okay, I get it. But I've never considered myself a pushy or a hard salesman. So it just wouldn't work for me to really, I couldn't be on anybody's, I couldn't be out there campaigning for nobody because it's just really hard for me to do that. I mean, I am passionate about certain things. I am, but it will be really, really hard for me to do those things because I feel like everybody have a right to feel or think what they feel and think. So that part is really hard for me. But there are some candidates that was running, and I was like, yeah, no. And not because I knew them personally, but because I had prior experiences with them in other situations that made me feel like, yeah, you was lying then. So you're lying. I'm pretty sure you lying now. So, but I even still feeling that way. I wasn't that person. Like if we had the opportunity to bring in all of the candidates, I would have brought in all of the candidates because it's not. I think the best thing is to be able to listen to all of them and hear them out, right? And so you and I were talking about, how do you make that selection? How do you pick when there's so many? So I started to wonder about the research process, right? I remember in high school, some years ago, when you had to do a paper and you had to do research on that paper, right? It's crazy because back then we had to get books and go to the library and probably dig out the old encyclopedias. Yeah, like we really had to do some
research. You had to go in different areas and find out, okay, is this, you find it in one thing, but what else is out there to substantiate what you just read or what you
Mm-hmm.
just found, instead of, because there are some things that's out there that's, and you research it, and it's just an opinion, but it's
Right.
not the truth.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So you always want to make that, what you find, you want to also find something else that supports
So
what it
true.
is being said.
So true. So just imagine, like I say, darn, if I had the technology that the kids have today, I'd probably
I
be out. Boy, I
know.
would have been an awesome student.
I'll put a stamp on my age, because we had the daggone, like I say, encyclopedias. We had
Yes,
my
indeed.
house. We
We
had
had to go.
those age.
Yes.
Didn't we ever go on with it? No,
Right,
no,
exactly. We had
I'm
to
not
like
sure.
we had to go to the libraries and we really had to do the research. Now you can just jump online and
Yeah,
just
you
do
can get all
whatever.
this stuff there, because you used to
Yes.
buy, you could buy. Some people won't know this, if you're young enough, you won't understand this. But my parents
Hmm.
did, would buy, couple of the books, and like I said, there could be, this. Let's say, if there's 30 books, like I said, that'll take you from the beginnings to the end. But I don't remember if we had the
Girl,
whole set. But
I had the whole set, and I remember them. It's like that is like, as a matter of fact, I can see that encyclopedia right now. I had literally had the whole set,
yeah.
and now that I think about it, it's like it's great to still have, because, and do they even have them anymore? Because what
Yeah.
would ever happen if if the internet went down? What would ever happen? What would people do if we don't have those? You know what? We were so basic back then. Like when I keep getting this email about back to the basics. Yeah, look, we changed. We done went to a whole different. But yes,
Yes.
so if we could
So
ever
we talk
get
about
back
the
to
research. Let's get back to the
you're right.
research
If we could ever get
on
back to the
today
basics,
for
though.
these candidates that we're talking
So
about.
the research, doing the research, it's like, okay, how do you actually do the research? Like, is there a process to doing the research? And so it was funny because, we talked about doing some building of foundation. And so when you are building a strong foundation, that's something that you should do first when you're doing a business. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, because sometimes you could be like me, just jump out there and do the business and did not have when I could consider the foundation or the skeleton of it being the business plan side of it, right? And so I was a proposal was posed to me about having someone do the actual business plan, and my conversation to that was, I it's not like I've never done it before. I've done it before. That's not an issue. And I feel like in doing it myself, that will help me know the ins and the outs of it. Why? Because you're actually doing the work.
Correct.
And so the comment was, yeah, and I get it, but the person that would actually be doing it now may have a different approach to research. They may research, they have more time to research certain areas, research certain numbers, research certain industries, research. And I thought to myself, that makes a whole lot of sense, because it's a project within itself. And so now with the election, it's like, okay, the same thing that he was saying to me about the research, not even realizing that there are basic steps to research. Like it's like, okay, it's research. What do you just go in there and look up somebody's name and go? No, it literally is steps to doing research. And it's like, okay, this is very, very interesting. But am I the only one? And I'm gonna ask you, Pam, that, say for instance, you're looking up a subject. We could be looking up a specific candidate, and you start to look. You're looking this person up, but then you see something else, and then it kind of sways you. You can get so engrossed in just digging, especially when you're trying to do, like you said, validate the information, make sure that the information is correct. You can just get so engrossed in that now. And as we were even having this conversation about the show and thinking about the process of it, I said, no wonder he was saying it's an idea to maybe have somebody do that part of the project for you. Not that you're going to walk away from the project, but maybe have somebody help, because you get so engrossed in digging that it could take something that could probably take you forever, would take somebody else maybe a few days.
These days in which you
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Well, I understand what you're saying there, but I what my thoughts are as you were saying that is, okay, I have someone else doing the research, but this is just like if I'm watching television and I'm watching different. I don't watch just one newscaster tell me something, or like, oh, I don't just listen to CNN, and I listen to other people, and they're talking about the same candidate. Okay, and sometimes they're not always talking about the same subject line
Right, right.
about this particular candidate. So, okay, I get a little bit from here and I get a little bit from there. Okay, now it's time for me to take these two things that they said and find out, is this real? Okay, what are they saying? One is saying, this person is, no good and whatever. Another person is, giving them praise. And you're like, okay, now which is it? Therefore, you take the information and there's certain information that I want to validate. I already know this is what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm not. I can get a little bit more specific because now what I've listened to the two, these two stations talking about the same candidate and both having different opinions. I can go get that information now, go and start doing my research on.
Yeah.
This is what I'm concerned about. This is what I want to find out. With the person over here talking about when they said XYZ, it piqued my interest to say, yeah, is that person really doing what they're saying they're doing? Okay. And then on another station, they was talking about how, oh, this person is the wonderful, most greatest person. They do this and this. Then I'm going back and then that piqued my interest over here. Are they really doing what they're saying? This one's talking
Right.
about this one's talking about that. Then I can do my research on that person, and look in different avenues and try to see if what I'm looking for, does it coincide with what they were saying? So you can get your information from there as well. Or like you said, you listen to somebody knows who the candidate. I work with the person. I know, like I said,
Right.
I know this person. All these things you can take into,
Consideration,
into
but
consideration
right.
as you're researching
Right.
for the things that are very important to
to you.
you.
So on that note, before we go any further, we're gonna continue our conversation. When we come back, we're gonna have to take our second break of the evening. We're gonna continue our conversation about doing the research and probably dig a little bit deeper into this, and as we are coming up on elections. So
Yeah.
we'll be right back after this break. candidates for this year's
Mm-hmm.
election? Like how do you and these things that we're sharing with you tonight, they don't always let me just rephrase that. They don't only work just for this. They work for every area of your life. If there's something that you feel strongly about, a great way to do before you do anything is to research that
Yeah.
thing before you actually
Yeah, and I
do
and
it.
I, I think it's always good to get it from more than one
Mm-hmm.
source. It's just like, let's say if we were talking tonight, and if Joanne was here, and she would tell
Mm-hmm.
us,
Yep.
if someone witnessed something. Normally, what they're trying to do, they're trying to get more than one person who can
Yep.
verify
Mm-hmm.
that this is what happened, so
Mm-hmm.
that they don't want to. Hopefully, they don't want to just put you in jail, just to put you in jail. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's usually it's just two or more,
Right.
not
Right.
just one. And
Right.
so in our researching, I always say, again, do the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't just take, because I could tell you, hey, so and so they are great, blah blah blah. That's my opinion, and you take it and run with it instead of
Mm-hmm.
taking time out to say, okay, I know what she says. I think she's legit. But it doesn't hurt anything for you to go and research and make sure that I didn't make an error in what
Sure.
I thought of her. Because it's kind of like, how you ever see that game where somebody whispers something into somebody's ear, and then they
Yeah.
tell it to
Like,
somebody
yep,
else, and then
yep.
they
And
tell
then
it
by
to
the
somebody
time
else.
it
By
get
the
back
time
to
it gets
you,
back to you,
you like, I ain't say
it's
that.
not quite the same
Right.
as what it originally started off
Exactly.
with. So,
Yeah.
like I said, as though, hey, I'm a good person. It's not like that. Pam's a good person.
Right.
But, like I said, how did she come up find that fact?
Yeah.
Did she get
Yeah.
it from somebody else? Like I said, if you don't ask a question and you just listen
Right.
to someone tell you XYZ, and you just go with it instead
Yeah.
of taking out the time, again, then that's just research. Taking that moment out and saying, let me,
Let
kind
me
of
just
dig
go
into it.
look.
Because this is, like I said, this is really kind of a crucial thing for us. Because when these candidates get into their position,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that, like I said, this could be a lifetime. Because
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
put into place, it doesn't always go away when they go outside of the outside
That's
that
so true.
office.
That's
And
so
this
true.
is something that we always have to remind ourselves of, because what goes in, even because I go in there, I'm only going to be there for 3-4 years or whatever the case, 2 to 4 years, doesn't mean that once I'm out of there, that the things that I've implemented while I was there are not going to still affect
Mm-hmm.
you after I'm gone. And these are the things that I think, like I said, we need to take into consideration as we're picking these candidates. And
Yeah.
we got to understand that even though we listen to the television or we hear the radio and things like that, and we are getting this information, because like it can be overload, especially when we had so many candidates. But now
Mm.
that especially here, I'm talking about the Maryland and Baltimore area, that it has been it's dwindling down, and then
Thank God.
it's going to be up to a point where these
Yeah.
are the ones that's going to be on the
Let me
ballot.
tell you, I don't know how I got caught up in the text message situation, but if I get one more text message, oh my gosh. And it's so crazy because they just pop up in my phone.
Uh-huh.
Like we are good girlfriends from way back when.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who? But I love it because I'm like, okay, this is not Michaela. Hey, Michaela. Like, okay, Michaela, who did you give my phone number to? Because they just keep popping up talking about some. Hey, Michaela, this is such and such from the Democratic Party, or this is such and such. I'm like,
Don't worry. I've gotten
kidding
calls,
me?
and they were saying my daughter's name, and I'm like, I know
Yeah.
you don't know me. So-
Right,
so-
because this is not her phone. So yes, and then you want to also be careful of what you see, right? Because I'm gonna say this. I remember when certain parties was in office, we would see the things that they were actually doing. You would go in there. It could be all breaking loose at the White House or wherever, and you flip to another station, and they're just making it seem like it's just a bed of roses. Everything is fine. It's not real. It's not really what you see. Yeah, I do see it. I see it. So you definitely want to be mindful of, as they would say, not falling for the banana in the tailpipe situation. If you see certain things, that's what you see. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what you see. It would be really hard to convince me if it's raining, I'm getting wet, but you standing there telling me, "Oh, it's not raining. That's
The
not.
sun is out."
Yeah, the sun is out. Excuse me. Hello. I'm soaking wet. Like really. So you really, really, honestly, you really, really have to think about. I think at some point too, I was getting irritated because it's like you're trying to play on my intelligence. Like yeah, I'm not stupid. I can literally see. I can see you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like, say right. I can see you, right? So in doing those things, right, you definitely, definitely, it would make me scratch my head sometimes to see how the thoughts of some folks would see you. You see me doing wrong, but you gonna say no, I'm not doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You see me doing wrong though,
Right, right.
so you definitely want to make sure that you pay those things some attention. Like, don't let people just tell you anything.
Yeah.
That's why I said I have a problem with trying to coach someone to take on my belief. Right. Like, if you want to have a conversation and you say to me, hey, who do you think about? Because somebody did ask me this, what are your thoughts on this candidate and like three candidates that were running for governor? And I said, I'm gonna be really, really honest. I had the one that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just so many of them at the time. It's like, I really don't know exactly who at the time, I was going to be looking for. But I knew who I liked. And so I was careful not to say exactly who that person was. But then the person I was having that conversation with, um, the person I was talking about was one of the three that
Oh, okay.
so
Uh-huh.
I thought that was very, very interesting. But again, even she was questioning, it's just so many candidates. Like, how do you make the decision on who to really, really go with? Because you got one person saying this, and then you got somebody
Right,
else
right.
saying that. Like, how do you,
How do you do?
how do you find the middle? So it's like you say, you have to go out there and you have to do the
That's why
research.
you have to
And
do the
there,
research because you can't always just like I think you're saying is that if you don't, you're going to go with the name that you kind of know.
no,
But then sometimes you already may go with the name that you already know. But the thing about it, the person that you're going with, you already know what their skill sets are or what they've done in the past, and it may not fit what it is that you're
you're
actually
looking for. That's
looking
true.
for, or
That's
that
true.
you feel that needs to be to be done. Therefore, you're going to have you have to take that time out to to look at somebody else and not just automatically assume, okay, I don't
Right,
even want to
right,
do anything
right,
about it, no research, I'm not going to do anything, I'm
right.
not going to ask the questions, I'm not going to I don't know them, so that's all I'm going to stick with. I'll stick back with
Right,
number
right.
one, who I've always known all my life. They ain't do nothing,
Right,
they ain't do
right.
nothing the first time.
Yeah, yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what? Maybe the second time, I'll give them another chance, and it's nothing wrong with giving the person another chance. But again, I say, learn some things about them. Know what your district is. Know who that is
That's
that you're even
very
going to,
important.
who you can and cannot vote for. Because, like I said, you may be looking at somebody that's not even in your district, and you doing all this research on them, and it's not going to help you out because
Right.
the mere fact is they're not in your district, so they're not going to be able to help
Right.
you.
So I think the first step in doing any type of research would be to figure out the areas that are the elections are up for now. Like, I know we had the governor, the governor gubernatorial race.
Gubernatorial.
I'll tease that up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were voting for the governor, and so we were voting for what is it, the Senate seats.
Mm-hmm.
We were voting for state's attorneys, attorney general. Am I right?
Yeah.
State's attorney general.
State's attorney.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's one for the city, and then there's one for the county, the state.
Just what you're saying. Just as we're sitting here going, as all the the positions that are up, for election. The thing too, it really kind of hit me in my head was we need to know what is their job, what are
That
these
is
duties,
it.
what is it that they
That's it.
do, because like I said, by knowing that, your main concern could be in this area, and how does it affect other areas? Does it go, like say, okay, we were talking about in the presidency, if like I said, we had lost the vice president, and we already know the speaker of the house would have came in and stuff, took that
Right.
position, was not. But do we know also when it comes to other positions, like that, such as the state's attorney and so on? Do we know who would take their place if there was something else to occur? Life is life. Someone passes, who would take their place? And what is it there? What are their duties? What it is that with how does it affect me? And if I have to reach out to them, how would I reach out to them? Do I have to go through this line to this line to this line to get to them? So all these things, I know we not, and I'm still educating myself. So please understand.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot of times. I talk to myself sometimes when we have these conversations. Is because there are things that maybe I wasn't thinking about myself until we bring these subjects up and we start to talk about them. And it's like, yes, I need to know these things. I need to know who is going into this seat and what is it that I'm expecting of them. Am I expecting something of them that they can't even do? Or I'm expecting something that they can do, but they're not doing.
Right. So I was actually pulling up the offices because honestly, I thought I remembered, and I'm definitely wrong because I haven't lived in the city for a very very long time. But I know for the state's attorney's office, the seats are open, and we haven't lived in the city in for a very long time, so it's like we don't get to vote for that particular office.
Correct.
And so those, like we said, these are some of the things that you need to actually look up because some of these things you can't vote for in certain places. So that's a very important thing because like Pam said, you're kind of wasting your time if you can't vote if you don't live in a city, you can't vote for the city folks.
Right.
So you just can't do that. So
then we don't want you to research something that's not going to be not going to be beneficial to you.
Exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and take our last break of the evening. When we come back, we're gonna continue the conversation a little bit more. Hopefully, I'll be able to find exactly the offices that was up for grabs at election time because it is that time. We'll be right back after this break. during the break, and just to give you an idea of the seats that are open for this election season, because the primaries are here. Well, they were here. We're getting ready to go into the actual voting process, but we had to narrow it down, right? And so the seats that are open now, or the offices that are they're running for now, is the governor's office. That's the governor and lieutenant governor, the comptroller's office, the state's attorney, the U.S. senator, representatives in Congress 1 through 8. I'm going to say 1 through 8, districts 1 through 8. The state senator, districts 1 through 47. House of Delegates, 1 through 47. And here's the catch to that. It looks like there's usually, because it's funny because they got 1A, 1B, 1C. Then it jumps to 2A, 2B, and no 2C. But then you have 3, 4, and 5. So it's like I say, it's very important that you kind of do your research to figure out what those areas mean. That is very important because, like I say, it definitely breaks it down. But if you go out to the elections.maryland.gov, you'll be able to see a lot of information about the races right now. And then you have the judges of the circuit court. And those are very, very important. I know a lot of times we just kind of, but
they're unopposed.
They're all
we already told.
Right, they're unopposed.
So we don't.
But all of that stuff this is important stuff, and this is a great way to again start your research to try to figure out how or who may be the candidate for you. It's very interesting because, like I said, I had no idea. Like, I know, there's, different states or what have you, but I didn't know that the House of Delegates, you may have up to 3 delegates for one district or what have you. So or one zone or however they word it, but it's very, very interesting because I just didn't know that. So this is something that you definitely want to, and it's the legislative district that when I say 1A, if you go out to Maryland, elections.maryland.gov, it actually breaks down for you these districts and who the people are and what areas they kind of cover. So it's very, very interesting information. I know, because when you think about it, I ain't gonna lie. When I was in school, it's like that stuff is super boring. Like yeah.
Yeah, but now we, we're older. We know how these things affect our lives. I mean, from our personal lives into our businesses and things of that nature. So now we find that okay, you know what, this matters.
Yes.
And I can't blame somebody else if I'm not doing at least doing my part to make a change. Because like I said, if you don't vote or you don't, then you shouldn't have anything else to say. That's how we always kept it.
That's true.
Then what are you complaining about? Because you didn't even you didn't even attempt to make your voice known or heard, I should say. So therefore, but we're coming down to the point where like I said, they are counting the ballots, and then they're going to say, okay, now we've kind of narrowed down to the race between this is who's going to be on this ballot when we go to the voting booth to make the final decision. So where the race had so many names out there, which might have, they said, thrown many people off. But now, I mean, you don't have a choice because what's going to be on the ballot is going to be on the ballot.
Right,
because, like I said, the moment that you had to make a choice between a selection, let's have a selection of 5. Out of that 5, you had that was Tuesday was your opportunity. But now, like I said, when you go to vote for that final vote, instead of being total of 5, you got total of 2 people, okay, but you still need to still make a decision.
Yeah.
And now that you know who those 2 people are going to be on the ballot on in the area in which you are concentrating on, then you can take that opportunity to say, okay, I know these 2. Again, let me do some more I can do some research on them. Even though I didn't do it here, I can still do it here to make the most effective decision that I can possibly make in selecting someone to be in that position. Again, I know I keep repeating this, but it is the fact that once you put someone in there, the decisions and things that are made then, and if you once they leave that, you're thinking they're only going to be in there 2 years, they're only going to be in there 4 years, whatever the term of the, you got to always remember, because when they leave, that what they put into effect doesn't leave with them.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because one of the things that I thought about, and I had to laugh a little bit, because it's like you have to laugh to keep from crying, a laugh to keep from crying situation. I thought about the fact that the governor is about to leave, and some of the things that he's done since he's about to leave. And it almost feels as though you have that, you know how you have that employee that's about to leave the company. The employee that's about to retire, you could probably trust that person to leave and not do anything kind of crazy, because that person is about to retire, and that person's. But then you got that one that you gotta let go, and you gotta really kind of get him out of there before he really blow up the spot. And I thought about the fact that, okay, they put, it should almost be like a limit where they can't do certain things at a certain time, because by the time when they get out of office, it's like they're just doing all kind of stuff before I get out of office, because I know I'm about to go. So I'm going to just run them out because I'm about to go and leave that mess for the next person to clean up. And it's really funny, because it was not funny, but it is in a sense, because as Pam said, they put certain things in place. And because you think that they're only going to be there for a minimal amount of time, what they put in place is a lot of it's going to be there until somebody else get in there and try to change the mess that they created.
Right. And usually, even when someone else comes in to change the mess that's already been done, it still takes time for the next thing to be implemented. You know, so
nothing happens overnight.
Normally happens overnight. I can sign the paperwork. If you really look deep, and you'll find that some of these things, the laws that are now that's in effect today, were already had already been put into place years ago. It's just that they're just really coming into effect now.
Yeah. It's so crazy, because I swear I feel like we're stepping back in time when I hear the things that are being changed today, and it's just so crazy. And it's like, okay, haven't we? It just seems as though some people are just stuck in time. We have to move forward with a lot of stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that we have got to move forward, move away from. Things are not like it used to be. The circumstances are so far different from how things used to be, and we really have to let some stuff go. Like, it's just crazy how we just so stuck on certain things, and then people in power have the power to make certain decisions over stuff that it's just crazy to me. So like we said earlier, it's very important to do your research, because I think if we did our research on a lot of these folks that are there right now, we would have been fighting tooth and nail to not even think about letting them get in office. And it's so interesting how it works. Let me tell you, like I said, if Trump hasn't done anything for me, he has taught me to pay attention to the news and listen to the stuff that's happening around me. I remember when we were young, Schoolhouse Rock was the way you found out about the different areas of government. Listen, I wish I used to listen to that little veto bill. I wish used to listen to Bill, because Bill used to break it down for us. But now it's like, okay, to listen at how it's very, very, very interesting. And I tell you that comes with seasoning. Because when you're young, it's like, yeah. But I don't know, because a lot of our young people today are getting into it, and I take my hat off to them, because a lot of them are the wheels behind. Because sometimes we get a little concerned about our young folks today. It's like, oh my gosh, this is what we're leaving our future to. But it's a lot of them that are out here on the ground, doing some groundwork, and really, really doing some stuff to make a difference, and change some lives. So again, you want to get out there and do what you can do, and see what we can find out about those that will be making a difference this year. At the end of the year, we'll be back in those voting booths making a decision. So, and it's very important, because right now it's a mess. We a whole mess. As my grandbaby would say, you making a mess. So we want to thank you all for tuning into the show. Again, as always, we enjoy spending time with each and every one of our boss. Whether you want to admit it or not, you run a business of some kind, be it in a home, the conference room, or the community. Please tune into the show every Thursday. We'll be right back at you, having another real talk conversation. Please email us at info@shesthebossradio.com. Connect with us on all our social medias. That's She's the Boss Radio on Facebook, Twitter, where She's the Boss Radio without the O. Visit us on www.shesthebossradio.com to see all the new shows that are coming. I'm so excited. And guess what? Yay. Mission Complete is coming back. Got a little spin to Mission Complete. Some young folks it's about to be the takeover for Mission Complete. So I'm super excited about those because they always keep you on your toes. They do. Uh-huh. So don't forget, also, there's no V Lounge, but you can contact us at shesthebossradio.com. Until next week, everybody. Hey, keep in mind that pandemic is still out there, so you definitely want to wear your mask.
Stay safe.
This guy playing crickets in my ear. Stay safe, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless. Y'all hear the crickets? They was fake.
The Boss Radio Network.
Hey guys, it's your girl Sharon, aka The Listener, where your voices will be heard and not ignored. You are listening